Chase. I am author of the Tangled series. That's Tangled, Holy Friggin' Matrimony, Twisted, Tamed, and Tied.
Let's see. How do you come up with the names of your characters?
Oh, that's a good question. You know what? I make a list. A lot of it depends on the qualities of the character. I really want the name to reflect kind of who they are. And I personally am always aware of, I used to read a lot of historical romances. I read a lot of romances in the 80s. So I'm always very leery of those like romantic hero sounding names. Brock. So usually I just make a list of names that feel right. You know, Drew, for example, felt very playful. You know, just very fun, very roguish, I guess. So I thought it went well with his name.
Right. How many drafts do you normally go through before you release your book?
I'm impressed. Well, let's see. When I'm writing it, I'll write, you know, say maybe about 2,000 words a day. And then before I start writing the next day, I'll go back over what I wrote the previous day. So there's revisions there. And then once I'm kind of a kind of writer that like my editor pretty much has to like pry it from my hands, because I'll just constantly tweak it and reread it. No, it's not quite ready yet. So I would say probably a lot in the beginning, but then once it's to the editor goes over and gets it back to me, and she does developmental edits, plot holes, characters, you know, making sure everything makes sense, and that, you know, it's a good story. And once I do those revisions, then it's copy editing, which is more punctuation, that kind of stuff. And then after that, you know, it's just one final read through on my end. Other stuff goes on to publishing. So three revisions, I guess you could say.
How do you come up with the titles of your books?
I want something that's memorable and catchy, but that really, it means a lot to me that it reflect what the story is. You know, Twisted was so perfect for that story because it was so twisted around from what Tangled had been, where this couple had been. So really, I just kind of think of a word that could really sum up what happens in the book.
What has been your favorite scene to write?
There's so many, but I really think my favorite scene is when Drew and Kate have just finished working together for about 12 hours, and you know they just had dinner, and their shoes are off, they're in the office, and they're tired. It's been a long day, and they get to an argument. And the scene just sizzles and crackles with the sexual tension, and it's so funny. You know, they're great characters to have argue with each other because they're really good arguers.
Has there been a scene that you've written that made you blush to write?
No, I'm pretty a hard person to get to blush, but I will say this: the first time that I heard the Tangled audiobook, when I read it wasn't even a full love scene. It was the first time they kissed, and Drew's just talking about, you know, where their hands are, and there's a little bit of groping going on, and what he would like to do. And I was listening to it in the car, and I had to pull over, and because I was just like, oh my god, who wrote that? It's so dirty.
For a kiss, it was dirty?
Yes. And that was the first time that I think hearing it, there was something about hearing it out loud that just was like, oh my god. I blushed then.
Okay, what about a scene that's made you cry?
It's interesting because a few weeks ago, I finished up Tied, the manuscript for Tied, and the final scene in Tied choked me up, and in a good way. There was also two scenes from Twisted that brought tears to my eyes also.
And we know characters are like you authors' babies, but who's your favorite?
I know, I hate answering this question because I love them all in different ways. But I think Drew is my favorite. I really feel that the whole series, except for Tamed, is really his story. You know, even though Twisted is from Kate's point of view, it's still all about him as a character and his growth and his journey. And he's just fun. You know, he has no boundaries, he has no filter, he's honest, so there's really nothing that he won't say. And he just has a unique way of talking and looking at things, so he's really just so much fun to write.
Tell us an unknown secret about one of your characters.
God, I think it's all out there. Well, it's not known yet, but Matthew is uncircumcised. Matthew Fisher. Coming July 15th.
That just happened.
Coming July 15th, 2014.
Let's end on that note. All right, thank you.
It was so nice talking with you. Thank you.